All right. Welcome, everyone, to my new podcast. And the idea is to interview real people with real stories. And I think that this is what's missing out there in the whole stratosphere of these low carb diets, where people are promoting high protein, the fasting, the one meal a day, the junky products. And you can go and listen to some expert trying to convince you that, like a man trying to convince a woman that this won't damage her thyroid, or any guru's trying to say that this won't damage your kidneys. But instead of the experts, which is just one person, I thought I would interview a bunch of real people. So, welcome. Today we have from Paris, France. How do you say, this is Elsa, everyone. How do you say Paris, France in French?
Paris, France.
Paris,
France.
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 France. It's hard with that
France.
R back here.
Yes, I know.
So bonjour and welcome.
Merci.
Okay, so what I love about my people, I've actually had Elsa as a client, is they're international. They're from all over the world. So, this is her first little interview. So bear with us. Elsa's going to tell her story about her health evolution and how intermittent fasting played a huge role in her leaking gut. So, Elsa, take it away.
Okay, so hi everybody. So I'm Elsa and I'm from France. I'm 48 years old. So I'm going to tell you about my journey, my story. I had really gut problems for a young age. It started really, really when I was really young. And I always had, problems with my gut. But I think it got worse, of course, when I intermittent fasted. And I did that for more than a decade. I think I was around 30 and until I was like 45, 46. So for a very, very long time. And I was skipping breakfast because I wasn't hungry in the morning, basically, because mainly I was having dinner too late and I was eating too much at dinner, I think. So I always had problem with my gut, and also I always had severe eczema. And I think, well, the both are related, because when you have eczema, it's skin problems, and skin problems are very often related to the gut. So it's usually it's a sign that the gut is not working properly. So well, I my doctor wouldn't take it seriously, my eczema. So basically, he was um, asking me to put like steroid creams to make it go away. And I remember the last time I saw him, I told him, I'm sure I have food sensitivities. I'm sure it's from my gut. I'm sure there's a problem. We have to investigate. And he was like, no, no, don't worry. Just put the cream. And if it doesn't work, come and see me back like in 2 weeks and we'll figure out something else. And I said, okay, stop. I can't keep going like this. And then I went to see a naturopath. And the first thing she asked me to do was to test the food sensitivities. And of course, the results were really, yeah, yeah. And so, of course, I was like allergic to gluten, lactose, all sorts of things. And the first thing she told me, well, she asked me about my eating habits, and I told her that I wasn't having breakfast. And the first thing she told me to do is she told me it's like really critical. If you have food sensitivities and leaky gut, you have to eat breakfast. So it was really hard for me, to be honest, after 15 years of not having breakfast. But well, I listened to what she prescribed, and I started to have breakfast again. But the damage were there, So my gut is really, really leaky. It's really, really bad. I think I really, really damaged, well, killed my gut, my microbiome, and I think it's gonna take a long time to just to repair it, because it's so damaged now. And yeah, it's don't intermittent fast. It's not a good idea. Don't do it.
Was it that she was suggesting to eat breakfast because the gut wall itself was just not being able to become strong again, or the bacteria
Absolutely.
was
Yes.
beginning to overgrow?
Yeah, absolutely. And also I have candida. Of course, we tested candida, and I have candida. And she told me, you have candida, meaning you have a dysbiosis, meaning you have a leaky gut. You must eat breakfast.
Mm.
You must eat breakfast. And so I had breakfast like for a few months, and after I got a bit tired of, like, I was also mostly eating the same thing for breakfast. So I said, okay, well, I'm just fed up. And also I wanted to lose weight, and I had reached a plateau. So I said, well, why not, tried to intermittent fast again. And it was, of course, a stupid idea, because when I started to intermittent fast again, my hair started to fall out. Yes, and the leaky gut got worse, and also I also had like issues with my sleep, and it got worse when I started to intermittent fast again. So it was a really bad idea.
I agree.
Yes.
So then you were starting to have you're obviously becoming frustrated because at some point you contacted me.
Yes,
And why did you end up contacting me?
because I was really sleep deprived, and as you see, I'm wearing blue blockers. So I've implemented a lot of
Changes,
last
improvements?
changes. Yes, absolutely. Like wearing blue blockers, because I'm an EA. I'm an executive assistant, so I'm working on a computer like 7 hours a day.
Yeah.
So I know it's better, like, to be protected from the blue light coming from the computer. So I have the yellow pair for the day, and a red pair for the evening.
So are these also eyeglasses, or are they just blue blockers?
They're just blue blockers.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, they're just blue blockers.
Do you wear glasses normally or no?
No, no.
I just got to point that out, you guys, because every time I've done a consultation with her, she has glasses on, and she's actually, because you guys don't know, she is, I think, 6 hours ahead. Six,
Yes.
seven, seven, seven,
Seven. Yes, seven.
seven. Yeah, she's 7 hours ahead of the time where I'm at, the time zone I'm at. And so she's smart enough. It'll be her evening when it's my day to put on these glasses. And that is the reason why I'm asking.
Okay.
You can,
And also I started to go in to walk in the morning, and to watch the sunrise. I wanted, like, to really connect to the circadian rhythms, you
right.
know. So, but it didn't really improve my sleep. So I think I was a bit desperate, and I needed your expertise, because I know you've been, coaching people for more than 15 years.
Well,
And
more under 15. I've been doing keto for 15 years, but
okay,
more
sorry.
like
Yeah, that's
13
it.
years. Yeah.
That's it. And I well, because I was completely lost. and I didn't know what to do because I thought I was doing, really good on the circadian side. So I was lost and I needed help about my keto journey. So that's it.
So, I mean, obviously, you came to me, and one of the things I said, obviously, was to not intermittent fast.
Absolutely, yes.
I'm checking to see what's going on behind my. Oh, I hear this buzzing sound.
Okay.
So many freaking insects in Texas. I was just making sure.
Okay.
But the first thing I said to you was I was confirming the naturopath, the commentary to stop fasting as well. When I said that, because you tried to do it again and started having these thyroid symptoms with your hair falling out and the gut getting worse and candida beginning to overgrow,
Yes.
how did that feel? Because clearly you're hearing that it's very normal to intermittent fast.
Yes, I think it's a big trend now. It's like the hype of the moment, and people like on YouTube make you think it's really easy and it's gonna like solve all your problems, and it's not.
And it's not.
Not
So when you fasted, you didn't find any improvements to what you were looking for.
No, not really. No, not
No,
really.
no.
Well, I had really, really intense sugar cravings. Yeah, yeah. It came back like really, really hard.
Yeah,
And no, I wasn't feeling well anyway. So no, it
no.
wasn't.
So now you're having the breakfast.
Yes, I
And
did.
tell us, give us the update now on what's going on with your gut and the leaking gut and the symptom. Well, also, why don't you also preface what the symptoms were? More symptoms you were having uh, from your leaky gut.
Okay, so the main symptoms were I was either constipated,
Hmm.
or on the other hand, diarrhea, or very, very loose stool.
Mm,
Also, I noticed sometimes my stools were very yellowish, like
yeah,
yellow. And I was most of the time really bloated, really, really bloated. And like also, it's funny because when I was drinking water, I was burping, and I always found that it was really strange because I was like, I'm only drinking water. I don't understand. It's not like a fizzy drink. I
mm.
don't understand when I'm always burping like that. So I had, yes, problem with, yeah, with my mainly
And the
with my,
skin, the patch on your back.
oh yes, the
That's like one of the biggest ones.
yes. Yes, I had a big patch on my back, and I think it's, yes, related, yes, to
Yes, it
my
is. So I just want to explain to people a little bit that she Elsa is suffering from a leaking gut. So when she's been basically fasting for a very long time, then it trended, and she was like, "Well, everybody else is doing this; must be a good thing." She actually talked to a naturopathic doctor, as she said, and then this woman said stop. But then she started, and then I said stop, and now she stopped. But the gut itself it's something that's not fixed overnight. So when you're describing your symptoms, yellow stool, yes, is a sign of a leaking gut. A sort of whitish or clay colored stool would be the sign of a gallbladder issue. And also the eczema and skin issues she was having is a direct correlation to her gut wall. And the problem is that when you guys are when you are skipping your meals, then immediately your body has to release cortisol from the adrenal system, and adrenaline will speed up the bad bacteria and keep it to continue to overgrow, and also will encourage that gut wall to, if I equal us out here, it will encourage the gut wall when you're fasting to continue to open. So with Elsa's symptoms, she's trying to tighten them back again. So if you want to explain to us more some of the changes, some of the benefits, once you stop fasting and then you start getting on a proper plan, what are some of the things that you've noticed with your health improving? Because it's an evolution. It's not going to happen overnight or in days.
Yes, yeah, and that's the hardest thing to to accept that it's gonna not gonna improve overnight. But I think I forgot to mention that I was also really depressed. Yes,
Oh
big episodes of when I was really depressed for no reason. Nothing was really happening in my life. Everything was okay, but I was so depressed, and it stopped. Definitely, I am not depressed, even with a lack of sleep. I mean, well, I'm tired, sure, for sure, but I'm not depressed, and no sugar cravings as well. Yeah, or less sugar cravings, I'd say, and overall more energy as well. I think I have a bit more energy, but mood wise, it's
the biggest one.
yes,
What
yes,
about your skin? Did you have improvements when you stopped fasting and then corrected your diet?
yes, a bit, yeah, a bit. I have a bit less rashes. I still have some from time to time, but yes, definitely, yeah,
Definitely less.
yeah.
Um, how is it culturally in Paris when it comes to the food that people eat? Can you describe
Oh my God.
it? Because we're here in the States. People sometimes will just run to Starbucks on their way to work or go to McDonald's or something.
Mhm.
But how is the Parisian or French lifestyle? Do people, because in the U.S. they think that everybody is skinny in France and is doing wonderful, and it's the Americans that are the worst. How is the lifestyle there when it comes to food and carbs, and what do you guys eat? Can you describe it a bit more?
People now in France eats a lot of carbs, really, really, and it starts for breakfast, because typically people would have like bread, and well, a bit of butter, but bread, butter, croissant, pastries,
Croissant, sweet
croissant, yeah,
croissant.
croissant, absolutely, pastries. Well, in Paris, you have bakeries at every corner. Where I live, I have like within like 50 meters, I have like four bakeries.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a cultural thing, really. Like we the thing is, we have sugar like for breakfast. Yeah,
What,
so
what what else are the Parisian um, lifestyle things? Like, I mean, people in the U.S. romanticize Paris.
I
I
know.
think I've heard my entire life, it's my dream to go to Paris.
Mhm.
Can you talk a little bit more about the lifestyle? Because we're talking like, do people watch television? Do they have fast food there? Um, what is are people eating late? Are they taking naps? Like, what is the Parisian lifestyle?
Well, I think we have a lot of fast foods, definitely.
What do you have there? I'm very curious.
Uh, like I think the one you have in the US, like McDonald's, Burger
Burger
King,
King, Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut, Domino's. Uh, well, quite the same. And the thing also with that maybe that is different is how we have also these French restaurant also that they are making like gourmet burgers,
Oh,
so
really?
yes, yes,
Gourmet
yes,
burgers.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And
With and they would add like Frenchies, and like really like French,
like
traditional French.
pommes
Yeah, yeah,
frites.
yeah, yeah, absolutely,
French
French
fries.
ingredients. So but like maybe not people from my generation, but I'd say younger generations, they eat like the Americans, you know. So a lot of fast foods, they don't cook. Actually, they don't.
Really?
Yeah, they
You
don't.
say because you born and raised in Paris, yeah, or
Yeah,
in France,
yeah.
yeah. So, because originally your family background comes from where?
From the West Indies, a small island called Guadeloupe.
Guadeloupe. And
Yes.
a lot of Americans don't realize there's a lot of people of color in Europe and in the cities. And like anybody in the US, your generation's born and raised in France.
Mhm.
So you're born and raised in France, and yeah, okay. So did you grow up eating any Guadeloupean diet or?
I'd say it was a mix of both. Uh, Mainly, my mom would cook like traditional French cuisine, like dishes. And you know, like for special occasions, she would like cook like West Indian dishes. Yeah,
Which is rice and pork.
rice and pork. Yes, a lot of pork. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. A lot of rice, starches as well. You know the how do you say that in English?
Plantain?
Yes, absolutely. But yam.
Yeah, yeah, the sweet potato. Yeah, or the yam
Yeah,
potato.
yeah. But yes, a lot of rice, a lot of pork, a lot of chicken, of course. You know.
Yes, rice, pork, and chicken.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you say that the culture in France has become very homogenized? And homogenized means it's just like the U.S. Like people get up, they either get on the metro or go in their car, they go to their job, they're drinking coffee, they're skipping meals, they're eating what? What would they be eating for lunches and dinners there and snacks and
Absolutely. I think it's I mean, like more and more teenagers, well, mainly teenagers and children as well are obese now. It's
oh
crazy.
really?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
You find sorry for the noise. Do you guys find that you have the same, like, do you have coworkers that you think or suspect as having leaky gut, or you're seeing more and more talk about diabetes on the news? Do you hear any of these obesity health crisis things going on in France and
Oh
in?
yes, definitely. Yes, of course. Yes. Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you walk in the street, you can see there are more and more people with well, young people and children with weight problems, weight issues, and health issues because of their lifestyles and the way they eat. I think now mainly, well, people are snacking all the time. And well, it's like the US. They drink a lot of coffee. They snack all the time. Eat a lot of carb. You know, we are close to Italy, so pasta. You know,
Pasta. Yeah,
pizza.
but France has this cafe culture, right?
Absolutely, yeah,
You grow up in that, oh, you meet people and you go to the cafe type of thing.
absolutely. Yeah, it's a tradition, and it's really a strong tradition. Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yes. We have cafes like in every corner.
Yeah.
So you would meet like your friends at a cafe and have a coffee like before in the morning or early afternoon,
Yes.
and early evening we would have like drinks, so aperitif, you know,
Mm.
and yeah. But now, and I think the younger generations, they snack all the time. They don't cook. They would only like eat like older foods from, you know, the companies like what's the name again? Oh, sorry. Um, you know, the delivery companies.
Oh, the delivery could like now my brain went blah blah. We have what's it freaking called?
Oh
We
my
have, it's
God.
called Postmates. We have a company called Postmates in the
Okay.
US, and they do all this food delivery. So you've got probably an equivalent, like an equal company that does
Yes,
the same thing.
absolutely. We have a lot now. We have a
Yeah,
lot of US company now. And it's funny because during lockdown, I noticed that the building which is just across the street, there are a lot of like young people and young workers and young and students. And I remember during the first lockdown, like every day I would see like the delivery guys, like they
just
would like.
delivery.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like every day for almost 2 months. So
Wow.
yeah, it's crazy and it's sad as well because people. I mean, they are young and they are not realizing that they are destroying their health.
Right.
That's
You
the
know,
thing.
I have to say, a lot of people don't know that I actually lived in Europe for over
Mm,
16 years, and I lived in Sweden. So we also had a thing called cafe culture. We would say, let's go fika, and that means let's go grab a coffee.
mm-mm.
And you sit outside. I mean, it's quite nice, but you're sitting with your coffee and with some pastry or something like this, and you're catching up with friends. And it's a nice culture, but unfortunately, with the society that we live in, we no longer do things maybe the way they did when we were younger, which
Absolutely.
is
Yeah.
not be a complete worker bee stuck on coffee, eating fast food
Mhm.
and quick foods and Postmates and things delivered to you, and a lot of junk now, a lot of packaged foods that people can eat.
Yes.
um, what about the trend? Do people over there know much about keto, carnivore? Like, have you had
Mm,
anybody around you?
no, not really. No, no, not really. No. It's
Or
no, no. So that's why people, my friends and my family and my colleagues, they think I'm crazy.
Oh, they do. I guess that's like a lot of people out there. There,
Yeah, they're like, why? You don't eat like carbs at all. You can't eat croissant. You can't eat cheese. They're like, why? Why are you doing this? And I'm
yeah.
like, oh,
I
I
remember when I first came, and I think we spoke about this before. When I first came to Paris the first time, they had these pastries that were in the texture of a croissant with chocolate in the
with
middle,
yes.
right? Or you have the butter ones, like type of butter circle with the butter yellow in the middle,
Mm,
a custardy. I don't know what they're called, but these are very, very these chocolate things, and they're
mm.
so good. They're so good. I can't explain. But the problem is that I think that maybe the Parisian culture from 40, 50, 60 years ago has
Mhm.
changed so much in the way that people live today that it's
Yes.
become like that word again, homogenized. Is just when you take the world culture and you just make it one smash of quick and order delivery and eat junk food, and then people over there have started to develop higher levels of diabetes, because when I went in the
Mhm.
80s you didn't see a lot of obese people, but would you say that times have changed?
Definitely, yes, yes, and it's the same. Also, people are eating bad, and also they drink a lot of coffee. They are always, on their phones or their or watching, TV late and Netflix or whatever. And it's the same. It's the same thing. Always on their computer. No blue blockers.
No,
So
yeah. So it's the same type of culture. You guys have become so
yes,
techy now
yes.
that even though Paris is an old city, it's very romantic, especially
Mm-mm.
you've seen the way they make the movies, right? The American
Yes,
movies on
yes, absolutely.
the Americans are just like, I think, I swear, out of any country in Europe, it's always like, I want to go to Paris. I want to go to Paris. And I told you the story that when I was in Paris and I was skateboarding. So I wasn't doing the tourist thing, staying in hotels and stuff. I was staying with actually skateboarders. But
Mhm.
I was going to a competition in Ireland, and you actually start from Paris. You go to the port. I don't remember the name of the port. Do you know the name of the port that goes to the UK or to Ireland?
Le Havre, I think, but I'm
Yeah,
not
I
sure.
think it's more like northern. I can't remember. It's been a long time, but you took a train to
Mm,
the coast, and then which is the West Coast. You take a train, and then
Mm-mm.
from there you get on a boat. Now they have a underground metro line or train line,
Okay.
right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. 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 Sure. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever been to England or Ireland or Scotland?
Well, I lived in Ireland.
Oh, you did.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I lived in Dublin for 3 years.
Oh, wow. And
Yeah.
how would you compare the culture between Dublin and Paris?
Oh, it's very different. It's very different.
How?
The food. The food.
The
Food
food
was.
is better in France,
Oh,
clearly.
definitely. My God, it was terrible. I remember the first month I was like, I want to go back home. My God, it's this country is no, I can't.
Yeah. Well,
But
French
yeah.
cuisine is pretty. I mean, it's world famous because of all the dishes that have been created in
Yeah.
France. Whereas if you go to like not Italy, but if you go to like Germany or Ireland or
Mm.
England, they just use like a meat and like some potatoes or like a salad or a fish or junk or fries or
Yeah.
chips and fish and chips, stuff like this. They don't really have like a palate, a tongue for very, very
Absolutely. Yeah.
fine, tasty food. So I do remember I stayed in, when I was skateboarding, I stayed in Bourges.
Okay.
Bourges, how do you say Bourges? I can't remember.
Bourges.
Bourges.
Yes.
Bourges.
Bourges.
Bourges. I stayed there and
Mm-hmm.
I stayed with a family.
Yeah.
And the mom, because I was young, we were
Yeah.
skaters and the son was a
Yeah.
skater and the dad and the mom. And
Mm.
they would cook these great home cooked French dishes every night.
Yes.
So it's a very, very good. And I think that's why for a while in our generation that you saw thinner people back in the day because they were eating more home cooked meals. Uh,
Absolutely.
most French style of cooking. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
from Guadeloupe, so you're getting a little bit of that influence. But
Mm.
um, what would you say are some of the things that you love about Parisian culture and the things that you just are sick of? Because I know people beyond diet would like to understand that
Oh.
reality as well.
Uh, the thing that I love, well, actually, Paris is a very beautiful city, to be honest. It's a very beautiful city. All the monuments, the history. It's a lovely city, really, really, especially in summertime. And it's kind of romantic. Yeah,
It
really,
is. It is.
it is romantic. So I'm lucky to live in Paris. Every time, I have to remind me that really I'm lucky to live in Paris. Also, we have the access to culture is really easy for us. The museum are not too expensive. There are a lot of things that are organized, that are free. So it's really interesting.
What
We-
would you say about the fitness and gym culture? Did that get bigger from because obviously in the U.S. when I was younger,
we-
it was kind of like the aerobics, and they're wearing the funny tights and they're like 1 and 2,
yes.
right? And then it became like this country is very, very gym heavy in cities because you're in a city. I moved
Yes.
outside of a city. I'm no longer living in a
Mm,
city. I'm living
mm.
in a town. There are 3 gyms in the town that I'm in.
Yeah.
There's no commercial like chains or anything. They're all privately owned.
Okay.
But there are 3 gyms in this town. What is the exercise and gym culture like? Do you go to the gym or talk about that aspect of the fitness life in Paris?
Well, like in every capital city, you have a lot of commercial chains, But
Do you know one of the names of the chains there? What the name
there's one nearby. It's called Fitness Park
in English or in French?
in French. Yeah, 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 yeah. I don't know why they choose like English names because they think it's like
Hip,
fancy or
cool.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And it's a huge one. Huge one. They have like gyms everywhere, and it's a local one also. So that's why it's really popular. But well, I don't think people are crazy like you in the US about fitness in France.
Really?
No, I don't think so.
I mean,
I
because most people who work in offices will either have a gym membership that they don't use or they go to try to go to the gym after work. So, what's your thing with exercise and gyms and or working out at home? What have you chosen to do to stay healthy, like fit? You move your
Well, for years I went to the gym, and then I got a bit bored, and then after I my experience in Dublin. When I was in Dublin, actually, I discovered, an American company called Beachbody.
Oh yeah,
With
that's also in the U.S. Yeah,
Yeah,
Beachbody.
yeah.
Yes.
With this, a fitness program called, what was it called? Insanity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, I tried. I
Yeah.
did that, and then I started to work out at home, and I really enjoyed it. So, and from then I only worked out from home at home.
So now you just work out from home
Yes,
currently.
from yes,
And
absolutely.
when you go to work, are you walking? Are you taking the metro? Like,
Well, both. I'm working a bit to go to the metro, and but I work a lot in the morning now. I work about an hour before going to, because I wake up really early. So I woke up like for an hour, and now I work out like 15 minutes every day, and then, but I don't go to the office very often. I would go like just once a week. Mostly I'm working from home.
so the
So
things that happen with the lockdowns are the same in France, that now more people are just working from home now. Is that
yes,
what happened?
yeah, yeah. Well, but I work in a big American company, so maybe that's why also. But my friend who works in smaller companies, they would go to the office like 3 times a week and work from home 2 times a week.
So does that mean that the metro, by the way, you guys, is the underground train system? But does that mean you find people less using the metro?
I'd say yes. I'd say there was a shift, because now a lot of people are using a bike. Actually, yeah,
That
yeah,
is one thing that Americans do not do.
yeah.
And Europeans, because also when I was in Germany, I lived there for a little bit,
Hmm.
and they ride bikes there like a lot,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
It's really nice though because they create, and also in Copenhagen, which is Copenhagen,
Hmm.
they also bike like legit bike lanes, like with bike lights, lights for the bikers and the lanes, and it's like 2 lanes going. That's how
Yeah,
much people ride bikes. So
yeah.
there's something very that part of that has still remained in European culture of moving. People are still walking. Paris is still a walking city, right?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, yeah.
Have the tourism gone down since all of this slowed
Of
it?
course, yes, of course. But tourists are coming back now. Yes, there
Oh,
are.
they
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. There are more and more tourists. They are coming back. So, but a bit less than before, of course, the COVID, pandemic.
hmm.
But well, I've noticed now that, let's say, like for about 6 months, yes, tourists, mostly from Europe, of course. But I've come across a few Americans, and yeah, they are starting to come back to France and
To
to
France.
Paris. Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I think I said this story to Elsa before about my first experience ever going to Paris, and I was with a Danish skateboarder, and he had a skateboard shirt by an American magazine. It was called Thrasher magazine, and they put freedom on it, and that's how skaters were back in the day. Like very rebellious and like freedom to skateboard and all this. And
yeah.
I think there was a fist on it or something.
Mhm.
And we just walked up to this Parisian girl and we asked her for directions, and she freaked out. And she goes, and my Danish friend, he sounded like he grew up in America. Right? This is a guy who's never been in the US because
Mhm.
people don't understand, like in certain parts of Europe, they have so much English exposure, whereas in France, it's not as much.
No.
France, I believe, is more nationalistic, but they believe in the French language. They don't want to Americanize it too much. Whereas in the other countries, especially in Northern Europe, they're all about it. So he had never even been to the U.S. and had like this American perfect accent.
Mm-mm.
And he asked her, I believe, and she started screaming at him, "I'm so sick and tired of you Americans coming and destroying my beautiful city, Paris. You know, you're just disgusting. You come all over the place." No, sorry. That sounds very weird. But you come to my city and you're just noisy and loud, obnoxious and self-entitled, which is mostly true.
Yes.
So I remember I would legit just ask Black people that I saw in France for directions because they would not be so aggressive. But she apologized at the end because he's like, first of all, I'm from Denmark. Like, how dare you? Second of all, don't ever come to Copenhagen. He's like, don't you ever come here. Like, with that attitude that you have. But I would ask just from, and I went to France many times after that.
Mm.
I remember I went to France one year, and I went to France. I went to Paris, and I was trying to just, you could just see skateboarders
Mhm.
just skating around and go talk to one, and you would instantly have a connection with somebody, and like, we just instantly have a place to stay. And I went there, and I couldn't find anybody that day, so I was sitting at the Eiffel Tower across the street at the steps. What's that place called across the street?
Champ de Mars,
Yes,
maybe?
Champ de Mars.
Champ de Mars.
Mars. Okay,
Yes.
Champ de Mars.
Champ de Mars.
Yeah, I went to Champ de Mars.
Mhm.
Anyway, I go there and I'm sitting on the steps, and sure enough, three skateboarders came, and they recognized me. They're like, "You're Stephanie." So people in the keto sphere don't know that I used to be this famous skateboarder,
Mhm.
and they recognized me, but they weren't French; they were Italian.
Okay.
And one of them was going to school in Paris, and the other two were visiting. So
Okay.
I ended up staying with these three kids, and because I was just sleeping on the bench across the street from the Eiffel Tower, trying to decide. Back in the day, when I was in the 80s and early 90s, they had a thing called a Euro Pass. And with the
Yes.
Euro Pass, you could hit. It was either per times that you ride a train, or it was per month. So I had a 2-month Euro Pass where I could travel anywhere in Europe on one
Okay.
ticket.
Okay.
So you could arrive to a city. That's why people are like, "What do you mean looking for places to stay through skaters?" Because you could arrive to a city, and if you don't find anyone, you could go and book a sleeping compartment on the train, sleep, and go to Italy or to Switzerland or something. Go somewhere else,
Mhm.
and just keep rolling. Use the trains as a place to sleep overnight. And so that's why I was there, just waiting and not knowing what to do. And I was gonna take a night train, I think, to Spain.
Okay.
Take a night train to Spain. That is correct. And they were like, "No, come stay with us." So that was
Okay.
a great experience. And then after that, I ended up going to Rome and staying with them. And then that
Okay.
girl, she had an apartment where you could sit on the roof. It,
Oh,
old apartment, sit on the roof and look, and it was quite tall, and you could look down into the Roman city. So it was a really, really great experience. But
yes.
if I go back to this to wind this conversation up about diet and nutrition, what advice would you give to people on fasting and just diet general, your gut, like just any last words that you would like to kind of encourage people to think about any aspects of low carb?
Well, don't fast, please. Don't do it.
Okay.
Especially if you know you have a leaky gut or gut problems, dysbiosis, don't do it.
Dysbiosis. Don't do
Yeah,
it.
it will worse, make things worse. And no, don't do it. And yes, and I think it's yeah, the low carb diet or the keto diet is the best, really, because I think like I can feel my health is getting better. It's not optimal yet, but it's getting better. And I feel, I mean, mentally, I've never felt that better, to be honest.
Mm,
Even if the sleep is not really optimal and it's not fixed, and I have still to work on that, mentally, yes, it's a huge game changer. So yeah,
that's amazing.
I will never ever go back. I swear, I swear.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're sticking with it because you've done 2 consultations with me,
Mm.
and if I split screen us again, I think that a lot of people are in a rush to lose weight. That's why they fast. Now,
Yes.
you were doing it inadvertently, which means that you were just doing it because that was your lifestyle, but it
Mm.
made your symptoms worse.
Also,
Um, yeah, but with the keto or carnivore is good for the short term. You're ending up doing keto and being very very careful with the nutrition plan. We are doing a lot of experimentation right
yeah,
now to
yeah.
to
Good.
uh, fix the eczema and fix other issues. But I think also just people need to be patient and not do trendy things like eat too much protein, too little fat, and then intermittent fast because they're expecting um, their weight to drop or their insulin to drop overnight. And now they've got perfect, blood sugar numbers. I think that people have to be very patient also with either fertility or with your case with the dysbiotic gut and the skin issues
Mm.
and the candida overgrowth. What a lot of people don't understand is that candida is something that just doesn't go away. It can come back when you're
Yeah.
stressed. You can bring the spore count down, but it's hard to just kill it off. And so what we're trying to do is get you completely balanced. And the word is called homeostasis. So ultimately, when we come back again, you're going to be like, I'm exactly where physically I want to be as I get older. And it's a
Yeah.
process. It can take a year. It could take a year and a half.
Mm.
There's a lot of experimentation that's involved. So
Yes.
just to be patient. But to everyone out there, thank you for tuning in to this series. I had to twist, not really, but sort of twist Elsa's arm to get her to speak to me, but not really. Um,
No.
she's not like Katie, where she's coming with all of these, hardcore facts with leaky gut. But I wanted her to just tell her story on how when she fasted, she made her gut wall worse. She made the bacterial overgrowth worse. She made the histamine intolerance worse with the skin, and she made her candida begin to overgrow. And I wanted it to be from a real person, especially that she's coming from a different culture, so that you guys here in the US can see that this is a worldwide epidemic of people living very unhealthy lives and trying to find quick solutions through fasting, which doesn't work.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Elsa. Stick around. We're going to have a talk after this. Thank
Mm.
you, everyone, for joining this chat. If you want to, Elsa's just a normal person, so we're not promoting websites and books and
No.
products and all this kind of stuff. Um, but if you want to learn more, keep watching my series. I'm going to now hit a complete barrage of different subjects. I just want to have real conversations with real people, their stories, and it can be about diet and lifestyle. That's the reason why I morphed it into also talking about how is the lifestyle in France, because a lot of us who can no longer travel internationally anymore, it's very good to know what the life is through a real person. Also, we didn't go into it, but I would love to know more about your experience at not today, but another interesting aspect I think that people might want to know is her experience of being a Black woman living in Paris, because France is very well known to be very nationalistic, and so people have their opinions on their perception of it from the outside. But it's very interesting when I get into my real stories, real people, or real people, real stories, how their experiences have been growing up in whatever environment that they're in. But that would be for a different conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. You can find me at stephanieperson.com if you want to book a consultation, like Elsa's done twice already, and have me help you work things out. Also, You can follow me on Instagram, which is Stephanie Ketogenic. My Facebook is Stephanie the Business Person. I also offer a course. It's only $15 a month. So for those who cannot afford potentially a consultation and they still need contact with me to try to iron out some of those issues, you can find me there, all through stephanieperson.com. And my Instagram, which is Stephanie Ketogenic, you can get a bunch of free content also on this channel. Leave information in the show notes below if you want me to talk about something in particular. And we're out. Thank you. And
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. Merci beaucoup.
De
How
rien.
do I say this with a proper accent? Merci beaucoup. Merci.
Merci. Merci.
Merci
Beaucoup.
beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
Beaucoup.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. And I will continue to talk to her. Thank you guys. And we're out.
Thank you.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.